You should go out of your way, should I say, to check out the match, as it features Benjamin and Haas winning the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Kurt, we just talked about it, from Chavo and Eddie Guerrero. 15 minutes, 56 seconds. This is a big deal for all of you. Now you guys are carrying all the gold, right? You're like the bloodline. You got the gold, baby.
That was what Team Angle was all about, winning titles. That's why we started it, and that's what we wanted to do.
You had to be thrilled, though, just to see Team Angle. It's made its rise to the top as a top faction in the company.
Yeah, the top tag team, and I was a top wrestler, so this was a great feeling for all of us.
Do you think those guys were ready for it, Kurt, just where they were in the business at the time? Do you think they were ready?
Yeah, they were ready. They got primed pretty good. They were trained quite a bit. They got on TV relatively quickly, but they were wrestling a lot of top guys, so they were ready for this.
Well, buddy, later that night, you'd take on Benoit again, and he would bleed during the match, but you would get the win clean in just over 10 minutes with the angle slam. Were you surprised that it would take another year for Benoit to get a run at the top?
Yeah, because, Chris, he was such a big star in WCW. When he came over to WWE, they had a main event, his first show. It was Raw, him versus Triple H in the main event. And then Vince decided, I'm going to pull this guy down and I'm going to recreate him.
Yeah.
He pulled him down to opening card, and Chris had to work his way back up again. And he did it. And there were times where I was like, oh my gosh, they're not going to do anything with Chris. This is crazy, because Chris deserves it more than anybody. And it just took a really long time to, at one point I even went to Chris and he got mad at me. I said, they're not using you right. And you know what? He didn't say anything back to me. And a half an hour later, he came back to me and said, don't ever say that to me again. I said, I'm just saying, Chris, that you should be utilized more. He said, I don't want to hear that. I said, all right, I'm sorry that I told you that. I apologize. And Chris, I think he knew it was true. And he didn't want to hear it.
He didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Yikes. Well, that's probably how much it bothered him,
Yeah, it had to. And you know what? Eventually he got redemption, and him and Eddie won the titles at WrestleMania 20, and they both, celebrated. It was one of the greatest moments I've ever seen in pro wrestling history.